Welcome everyone back to episode 6 of Bango's journey. Finally finishing up Razor Hill. Finally making our way out of Durotar into the Barrens. Alright, say goodbye to our boy here. And we are making our way. Farewell, Razor Hill. This is cool, this is exciting. I like to go into the Barrens here, and I know the Barrens are going to be a little bit different than kind of what I'm used to. But as Bango says, this is it. And we are don't get scared now. We're ready to venture forth. My amazing audience and boy Bango. Let's do it for the horde. I am in a not PvP server, so it is kind of cool when you cross over there and the Northern Barrens is red. At some point, somewhere along the line, I'm sure that I will do some sort of PvP playthrough of Bango on a classic PvP server. But right now we're just hanging tight. So we got the War Chief's command, meeting up with this kind of forward camp, the Far Watch post, picking up our quests and getting ready to to the dangerous zones in Durotar. This is a good kind of entry into what we experience as players and gamers in World of Warcraft, because like, the Crossroads was there and I was ready to go, and then I remembered, oh, I have to kind of do all of these little quests for nothing, by the way, for nothing at all. 99 experience from that guy. Come on, dude. I came all the way over South Fury River. Across the bridge. Bango does not appreciate getting slighted on his gold. My first quest here is we're gonna Planestalkers and hunters, which I think are the cheetahs and lions. I think the lions maybe, or maybe a mix of both. And kind of work through this little area. We've got this flaming, I forget what it is, stable, I think, and we have to rescue the wolves that are in there. Always a good quest. Always trying to help out my fellow horde. Right. I'm running a hardcore character in Bango is a classic character. And I'm trying to remember, not there yet, because I'm super anxious. I'm only at Senjin Village, but I'm trying to remember things like this in the OG. I'm sorry, I think our quests like this in the OG. Wow. Will I get to visit the beginning? So I finish up that quest, I save everybody, and I have been pushing my leatherworking to a limit that I feel like I kind of feel like I'm on level with my character. So Bango is level 14 here, and I feel like my leatherworking is keeping up with the level, which is good. Now I will say, I don't have... like, it hasn't really gotten hard yet to leatherwork. Most of the supplies I can find around, but I know as we get level up higher and higher, there's going to be some more things that I'm going to have to get on my own, because the auction house just doesn't have the availability. So everywhere I go, Durotar and the Barrens are really good. I think most probably starting zones are pretty good in terms of having beasts that you can skin and really keep up with your leatherworking. Here's our guys. No beaks whatsoever on the Plain Striders. This was an infuriating quest. I edit this a lot, so you can see the numbers, you can see the time that it takes me to find all of these different beaks and things. I think that quest in total took me like 3 or 4 minutes, which is kind of a lot considering that the Plain Striders are everywhere and you can kill one every few seconds, but I only needed 7. It should have taken me a minute. It took me like 5 minutes. So back at it, we got our stuff, we got our things that we needed, and we are rolling through. The Kodo quest is kind of cool. I don't get to do that yet. I kind of thought that's where I was going. But first I have to go into the cave and kill all of these Quilboars, which again, I don't remember this being, and I think this was a cool kind of digging into the quest for the first time. So I've also tried something here. With my fancy editing skills, I tried to speed run this area for you and just watch me go down, because I thought it was cool. As I was replaying this video and I'm replaying this content that I had made, I thought it was a fun, I guess you could say, like, intro dungeon. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Working through the Quilboars, finding all the supply crates, getting all this stuff done. I think there's like is there like a mini boss kind of guy? Kreenig, Snarl Snout, he's in here somewhere, I think, is the guy that I have to kill. Managed to do it unscathed, per usual. You know, Bango's a little over leveled because I spent so much time, I think because of the leather working, I think I spent so much time gaining the experience from killing all these mobs that it just over levels my character for the particular zone. But I think that that's fine. I will say something that I do like about the current state of WoW is something that Elder Scrolls Online did, which I actually really appreciated, which was they made it was called One Tamriel in Elder Scrolls Online, but they made it so everything kind of scales to you, so you can really enjoy any type of combat or content, and combat won't be the limiting factor for a particular zone. So I thought that was really fun. I will say there is certainly, I mean, I'm not like pro every game should do this. I think that it is really cool because it's fun to feel super powerful in some zones. If you do miss that, you don't get to go to any zone and be over leveled and be a cakewalk in the beginning. So, modern WoW, it has what would you call it? Like segments where it's like 1 through 80, and then 80 through 90, or 80 that you can kind of level up. I don't remember exactly what the level limits are, but that allows you to go to these different zones, and then you can, as you get more powerful in the newer expansion, you can kind of go back to the other expansions and be powerful there. So I think that's cool. In classic WoW, you have one level, you go up to level 10, and then by the time you're level 40, you can come back and it's not 40. Now it is in modern WoW. So in retail WoW, if you will. So I think that that's a cool element, and I think that's an important distinction to notice and kind of appreciate as it is, but also maybe understand the limitations or the power that you feel. In Elder Scrolls Online, which I played, I actually wrote for a website. We played at a guild. It was a really cool crew. There's like videos floating around on the podcast that I used to do for that. And Elder Scrolls Online, once it became free to play, it became all One Tamriel, and every level is now scaled to the character. I'm not sure necessarily how I feel about that. At least in WoW, you have these segments, you have these expansion zones. I think like the first few expansions are low levels or the same level, and then the other expansions get a little higher. So, it's a space where kind of figure it out. And speaking of older MMOs, a game like EverQuest, which I absolutely loved, as we're watching Bango here travel on the Kodo, which was a fun, silly quest of just shotgunning Quilboars. As I'm thinking about EverQuest was a level-based zones, but you didn't know the levels of your enemy. It had the con system, the consider system, where you would click a mob, hit the C character on your keyboard, and it would tell you it would either be blue, white, yellow, or red. Sometimes it would be green if it was like super low level. And that would be like, okay, if it's a white or blue mob, you might be able to take it. If it's a yellow mob, it's probably going to kill you. If it's a red mob, you're going to die. And depending on your class, like you could tank red mobs. You could take on red mobs if you were like a necromancer or an enchanter or something. I played a ranger. I could barely kill light blue mobs. And so that was a cool system. There we go, level 15. I finally got my first talent point. Pretty pumped about it. This was the talent tree that I remember. Right, I got this at 15, right? I didn't get it at 10. I join a party just to see. Yep, so here we go. So I have my options. It was Night Stalker. I can't remember the other two. I picked Night Stalker because it increased my damage while I was stealth and my speed. Ability 75% energy. The subterfuge is more of a sub kind of flavor. Stealth breaks 3 seconds after. I don't really have any like cool stealth abilities, but the Night Stalker was just a flat increase of damage and speed, which I thought was really good, especially because I'm not gonna have a mount for 5 more levels. But it's nice when you're in a dungeon or something, you can get some mobility. So that's why I picked that. That's why I went with Night Stalker. Don't know kind of where I'm going with the different abilities. Remember the last ability is Marked for Death, I think was a good one. Is Vendetta on that? I can't remember if it's a skill or ability. I don't recall to the best of my abilities. Yeah, there we go. Here's our boy Mancrick. You have to rescue his wife. There's always like I can't remember. There's always the Mancrick lovers and the Mancrick haters. The ones are like, you left your wife out there to die, and the other ones like, you went to go rescue. I think it's like the story it's kind of vague and you're not really sure who to believe or what you think happened. Or I could be totally wrong. But I always feel like there's the Justice for Mancrick crowd and then the you know, throw Mancrick in jail kind of crowd. So I'm not sure which side I'm on. I didn't read the quest, being honest. These are really quests. I'm not really reading them. I'm just kind of enjoying the flavor of the game. I do like this quest where you have to beat up the Quilboar. And you carry him on like a rope. Bango was feeling rare form tonight. I think that when I was playing this version, this episode of Bango, I was thinking about just really embracing him and coming through as his character. I started to upload my commentary right with the video itself. So this is an older style that I'm gonna kind of slowly fade out, and eventually you're just gonna get the live commentary. Although there is some charm in watching Bango do his thing, and then see what I said as Bango. Look, man, he's just trying to do good around the world of Durotar. You know, in a world where the Horde get treated so poorly because they look the way that they look, and they're primitive, and they're not all cute. They don't have a humanoid-looking race where they don't have human-looking races. You know, they get crapped on, and I'm just saying, justice for the Horde. Okay, Thrall back in the day, Fulgian back in the day, tough crew. I have love towards King Varian Rin, not gonna lie. I played Legion, loved Legion. Okay. Also, Fulgian was in that expansion too, and he was tough. He was a tough dude. All right, so I think I decided to tickle this guy. I was feeling nice, and tickle time works every time. Bango, make myself laugh. If this video gets 1 view, it doesn't matter because I enjoy playing WoW, and I think ultimately that's the goal here with this channel. Is like, look, WoW is fun, and if you stop taking yourself so seriously play WoW, the game is really fun too. I think that's ultimately the goal of World of Warcraft, is to find a game that you enjoy playing. So I have to find this Kodo. I remember doing this quest not quite at this moment because I messed it up. He was out there and then I lose a Kodo. Come back. All right. Resting in my moment here. Bango calls it a day. And I think we'll call it a day. So thank you once again for joining, and I hope to see you again.